I am here to talk about digital curriculum. So first of all, I'm going to do a little bit of an overview. And once I do the overview, you guys can ask questions and I'll try to be keeping track of them. Sam is gonna, I'm so sorry, Maribel. Sam's gonna help me to keep track of questions too, but I'll do it in a little bit of an overview. So in the last few months, many crazy things have happened in the world, and then also with curriculum from the Comprehensible Classroom, because we have been doing everything we can to meet your needs before you even know that they're a need that you have. So we're watching what all the school districts are doing. We're following very closely with the different policies that are being put into place across the country, so that we can kind of anticipate the direction that things are going, so that you have what you need by the time you go back to the classroom. So in doing that, we've kind of come up with a bunch of different kinds of products, which is really exciting because we have so much flexibility, but it also makes it really confusing for purchasing. So as you're thinking about the back to school sale this coming week, it's August 4th and 5th. We are going to mark down our entire store. So all of the curriculum, all of the supplements, everything, 20%. And then you can use a coupon code, which is BTS20, BTS20, to get the additional 5% off. So it'll be 25% off everything in our store, and then a lot of other stores are participating as well. So you want to take advantage of that sale. That's the maximum sale we ever offer, but you got to know what to get. So first of all, okay, Glenda, I see your question. I will tell you what to get. You're going to have the kids physically for 1 week, and then the next week at their home. Wow, gosh, every school has a different plan. So yes, I'll tell you what to do. So we've got the original Somos curriculum. So the Somos curriculum has been around for almost 10 years now. And that curriculum was written for normal classroom instruction. You're in the class with your students. It includes all of the lesson plans that you need. It includes all of the student printables. It includes assessments. It's totally all inclusive. We have a full level 1. We have level 2. We have 9 units for French, which is enough for at least the first semester of French, but a lot of teachers with supplements stretch it out to a full year of level 1. And we will be, this coming week, publishing the first unit of Latin. John Bracey is working with us on that, which is super exciting. So, so that's the original curriculum. It includes everything. It's a one-time purchase. The level 1 curriculum is currently $350. You buy it once, you have it forever. So you never have to spend money on textbooks ever again. You can focus all of those thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of textbook adoption funds on things like building your classroom library, getting your administrators to order you books from independent publishers and independent authors, and from publishers like Fluency Matters and TPRS Books. So it's so awesome, and I'm really proud that this is a one-time purchase. It really is a small cost. So we've got the level 1, level 2 Spanish curriculum, and then the French curriculum. Those are designed for in-classroom. Those units range from anywhere from 5 days, most of them are not that short, to I think we have some units that are 20 days. So some of the units can be really long. On average, I would say they're about 2 weeks per unit, although a lot of teachers draw them out a lot longer than that. I found that I went through my units a lot faster than other teachers do. So there's a lot of richness, a lot of depth in each unit. Every unit starts out with storytelling. And so we introduce core vocabulary to our students, just a few words. And then we use those words to tell stories and to co-create stories with our students. A lot of times there's a music connection, so some kind of an authentic song that ties in with the core vocabulary. And then once students have really acquired a solid understanding, they can interpret those words easily when they hear them or read them through storytelling. Then we start to apply them to a new context, which is which is an informational context. And we use those words to talk about a real world topic, usually cultural. And then we spend a few days doing that. There are comprehensible readings provided to you to help you introduce these topics to your students. And then there's a lot of authentic resources that tie them in. And then at the end of the unit, there are a couple simple assessments. We include summative assessments that fit within the framework of standard-based assessment. So, Karen, I'll come back to that question. So, so that is the, Karen asked, why is there such a disparity between the number of days in the original unit, the flex unit, and why isn't Los Perritos in unit 1 flex? I will totally come back to that. So, so that's the original curriculum. It's in-depth, and it's meant for in-classroom. So then this spring, we started publishing distance learning units. Most teachers this spring went to totally virtual asynchronous learning, meaning that most teachers weren't teaching live classes with their students, although some of you definitely were. So we took every unit that exists in the no, not every unit. For some of the units in the curriculum, we started with the units that most people were teaching. We took a poll in the Somos group and we're like, which unit are you starting next? And then we worked with those. So we started with unit 8, and then we did unit 8, 9, 10, and 11 of level 1. And then we did a few different units in level 2 as well. We took everything in the original curriculum and we made it digital. So if you were supposed to, if your students were supposed to do like a manipulative activity, like a jigsaw puzzle, or, you know, the sequencing song lyrics, we took that and we made it digital. So we had some distance learning units in the spring that were for fully asynchronous virtual learning that were published. Those units are still totally useful, even if you end up going back to the classroom, because we always have, I mean, there's one-to-one schools where you're not supposed to be using as much paper as Somos was originally set up with. So that will solve that problem of your students being able to complete the activities in the curriculum on devices. If you have kids that are absent, if you have kids who need additional work, all of the activities, it's working with the same content, but in a slightly you know, different way. So it's a second exposure. So those distance learning units that we published in the spring will totally be useful to you still if you own the original curriculum. Well, then this summer hit and we realized that come fall, it isn't going to be one or the other. It's not going to be either you're in the classroom with your students and things are normal, or your students are totally virtual. There's going to be all sorts of different things going on. So that's where we came up with this idea. And this was really Alicia Cardenas's idea, to have these flex plans. So these flexible plans where every single day there are 4 different options. So you choose based on your format. So if you're in your classroom with your students, there's a plan for you to do if you're in the class. If your students are synchronous virtual, then there's a plan for that. If your students are asynchronous virtual, so they're just working on their own, self-paced, there's a plan for that. If you have students that don't have internet access and just need a printed piece of paper to be working on every day, there's a plan for that. So every day, the lesson plans are totally synchronized so that all 4 of those tracks are working with the same content and you're working on the same pace throughout the lessons, but they're given to you in a different way. So I'm going to try to do a screen share. Let's see how this goes. Okay, so when you download the unit from Teachers Pay Teachers, the Flex unit, you'll get access to a Drive folder. It'll look like this. The first thing at the top is the unit overview. So here you can see that every Flex unit is the exact same. Every Flex unit is going to be 7 days, and it's going to follow the exact same sequence. And the reason that we did that is because one of the biggest challenges with teaching online is that it's so hard for students and parents, especially, to figure out, for parents to manage their kids' learning, and kids just need help. So if you're doing the same thing every day, or if you're doing the same sequence of things across a couple weeks, that is going to help your students and your parents to feel confident in knowing what they're supposed to do. And it's going to minimize the number of questions that you're having to field, the number of emails that you're having to respond to saying like, but Senior, I don't understand this. I don't understand that. What am I supposed to be doing now? It'll take a little bit the first couple of weeks as you go through the first sequence, but then it's going to be the same thing in a 7-day cycle. so that over time you are not having to respond to so many questions from your students and their parents. So you'll see every day there's a traditional plan for in classroom. One change is that for these traditional plans, they're not exactly the same as the original curriculum because we've taken into account social distancing and no sharing of materials. So like some of my favorite activities, things like write, draw, pass, where students are passing papers and taking turns drawing on it. You can't do that now. Or like pencil grab, you can't have students grabbing for the same pencil because they can't be touching the same materials. So we've adapted our original Somos lesson plans in that way for the traditional strand, and all of the lessons that we've provided for you give recommendations for students to maintain that social distancing and to be keeping their materials to themselves. Then there's the hybrid plan, and that's for your students that are sometimes in class and sometimes learning from home. The virtual plan, which is kids that are just working on their own every day. They have a task that they have to complete. They probably log into your learning management system like Google Classroom, Schoology, or Canvas. They see what task they have to complete and they do it. So that's totally virtual on their own, not synchronous. So they're never face-to-face with you in that track. And then the paper only is just, here's a packet, print it out, give it to the students at the start of the unit, or give them a lot of packets at the start of the semester, and they can keep working through the curriculum even though they might not have internet access. You can mix and match among the paths. So, I mean, we have it all laid out for you, but if you have students that are in class one day and then they're virtual asynchronous the next day, you know, they can be going traditional to virtual, however it is. These are super flexible. They're totally synchronized, so that totally aligned, so that you don't have to worry about the planning. You can just focus on your own personal, mental, emotional health, which is going to be so important in this coming school year. And then also just connecting with your students. So the planning is done for you. So then you can focus on, okay, what elements can I add into this that are really going to allow me to connect my students and create connections between my students, because that's something that we're all really missing as we're thinking about the return to school this year. Let me see. So, oh gosh, whose question was it? Oh gosh, I'm already gonna forget it. Sam, you're gonna have to help me remember questions. You might be texting me. We've been doing so many of these lives lately, so we have a pretty good system set up. Okay, oh, someone asked the distance learning units in the spring. Oh my gosh, we had such a mess with audio. Audio was a disaster. We found out all of these limitations on Google Drive with regard to audio. And so we were having a lot of issues, but now everything is fixed. We have had to do a couple workarounds. Any audio that is included in the distance learning units that we published this spring. And then also there is one audio file for every Flex unit. It's really important that when you get that audio file, you make a copy of it and then you share that copy with your students. Don't share the original, because Google Drive has play limits. And so if I create an audio file and share it with you, and you and you and you and you and all these teachers, and all of those teachers share it with their students, no one's going to be able to hear it because that file will get blocked. But if I share it with you, you make a copy and then share that copy with your students will be able to access it. So it's really important that you follow those audio instructions for the distance learning units from the spring, and then the Flex units now. The distance learning units that we published in the spring have a lot of audio files, and they were embedded in the slides. And so you're going to have to go in and physically add the copies of your audio files into the slides, but I tried to make it really clear about which audio file goes where, and it just takes a couple minutes to do. I know it is a hassle, but that's really the only way that we could do it. The great news is that Garbanzo is going to be having audio in the next little bit here. We're able to start adding audio to Garbanzo now, and so we just have to get it onto the site before we unlock it for all of you guys. So that will be a way that your students can get audio without having to deal with the Google Drive mess. Okay. Okay. So, oh, I remember the question I was going to answer. So someone asked about unit 1. They said, okay, well, your original unit 1 is 4 days, but the flex unit 1 is 7 days and Los Pollitos dicen isn't in it. What's up with that? So the original Somos unit 1 is 4 days, but then there are a couple free and paid additions, like supplements that you could add on to it. So it's the 4 days, and then there's like the Me Llamo Ronaldo introductions reading, and then the Wildebeest plans are additional, and they're free added on to that. So for the flex unit, we just pulled the Wildebeest plans right into the unit. And so it is a little bit longer. There are actually more stories in the flex unit. Let me just show this to you. So in, oh, I forgot I was sharing my screen that whole time. I didn't intend to be doing that. So this is what the flex plans look like. So the lesson plans for every day are laid out like this. So again, you can see there's 4 different tracks. You pick which one you're doing with your students. You're like, okay, I've got students that are in the classroom with me, so I'm going to follow the traditional plans. I've got synchronous learners. This is what we're going to do. I've got my virtual learners. This is what we do. These are the materials I need. And then I've got my print packet. These are the pages I assign them. So in this plan, follow all of the links in the lesson plans. Some of the links will take you to my blog, where you'll be able to read like more in-depth instructions about different activities. Maybe you've read those before if you've been using the original curriculum, maybe not. There's a lot of demos that are embedded in those posts. So those are going to be really useful to you, especially if you're new to this kind of teaching. This kind of teaching, not meaning online teaching, but meaning comprehension-based teaching. And a lot of those links are linked within the packet. So you can see if you click on, for example, this materials link. Oh my gosh, it takes so long with when I'm streaming. It'll take you straight to the slide that it's talking about. But then also within the plans, some of these materials are located within the folder. So when you download the product, you get this whole folder of files. So in the lesson plans, when you see these bright green highlights, that means that that's referring to a separate file in the folder. And that's because this file that it's referring to is a digital activity. So it's already prepped for you to add into your learning management system. So be that Schoology, Canvas, Google Classroom, whatever it is, you put it in there, it sends it out to your students, and your students can complete it online. So for example, here's the sequencing activity. That's a digital resource in the download folder. And students are supposed to, they will have already read this story and they have to sequence it. So they're just writing in the numbers in the bubbles. But this is all set up for them to complete online, and then they can submit it to you again through your learning management system. And then we also have a slideshow for the unit. The slideshow you can use if you're in the classroom with your students. So if you are used to doing a warm-up every day, a campanada, a bell ringer activity, those are all in here. The practice sentences where you show your students a sentence in Spanish, they translate it on a little whiteboard or on a paper in English. Those are in here. The great thing about all of these campanadas is if your students are virtual learners and you are expected to have just like an assignment from them every day, if you're supposed to collect an assignment every day, or if you're supposed to collect 2 assignments every day, it's so crazy and inequitable that we would force students to do that, because not everyone has equal access to technology. But regardless, that is the requirement in a lot of schools. These campanadas are great ways that you can do this. In the classroom, you can just project this slide for your students. But if you're not in the classroom, what you can do, oh gosh, what am I doing to my, I've got to zoom out. If you're not in the classroom, every one of these slides these campanada slides is set up to be a digital slides activity. So you just go to File, make a copy of the selected slide, and that'll make a separate copy of just this one slide. And then you can upload that to your learning management system. Your students can complete the task in slides and then send it back to you. If you use Microsoft Teams, all of these slides activities are really simple. So they will translate over to PowerPoint if you just have to download them as a PowerPoint instead of as a slide and then share them to your learning management system. So like for this activity, the students just read the paragraph, and then they have to say which sentence does not appear in it. So they just drag this little cancel symbol over to the sentence that is not in the story. So those are all set up for you. So again, we're trying to just make things really flexible, whatever you need. These flex units have tons and tons and tons of pieces. Another thing that is in every flex unit is a story builder. So we tried to think about, okay, well, what happens for when I'm not face-to-face with my students and we can't co-create a story together? Or what happens for teachers that haven't been able to try story asking yet, and that's built into our flex plans, but you guys don't feel confident doing story asking? What can we do to kind of mimic that process and make it more accessible to all teachers, and also to have that similar process for students that are learning without the presence of a teacher? So we essentially created choose your own adventure PowerPoints. So these take our story scripts for the unit. And let me see, this is going to take a second to load. I'm going to go to present mode. And you'll see that this is a fully clickable slideshow. One thing you'll notice that we're doing in all the flex plans, we do this in our regular plans too, but with the flex plans, you'll see it's taken into account everywhere, is representation. So we're trying to include a just diverse range of characters in all of our materials so that every student can see themselves represented in it. So so in this case, Cruz has dark skin, and Cruz is never identified as a boy or a girl in the story. So Cruz is a person. Okay, so the student chooses, are they intelligent or are they special? They click on intelligent. Ooh, are they an astronaut or are they a taxi driver? Astronaut. Ooh, they're exploring the solar system. Click the next slide. An extraterrestrial says hello. Cruz says hello. They say, this is my planet. And they go through. So there's just a small element of choice, and then you can go back to the beginning and create a different story. So what happens? They're special, they're Costa Rican, or they're a superhero. Oh my gosh, Cruz is a superhero unicorn. And you go through. So students do that. So this is a way that we tried to recreate the story asking process in a virtual space. So those are the flex plans. So there's 7 days. Oh no, I got to show you one more thing about the flex plans before I start talking about, well, what does that mean for purchasing? What should you buy? So I'm going back to the print packet. Not back to. This is the print packet. This print packet is for your students that don't have internet access. You just need to print something to them, give it to them, and they'll work through it. You'll see it just tells them exactly what to do every day. So what story to read and what activities. So every day they get a story and they get an activity after day one. Now, some of these stories are in the original curriculum. Most of them are totally new. So there's a story page with yes, no questions, processing questions to help students understand the story. And then there's a story activity. So if you already own the original curriculum, I hope that you can see that even when you go back to the classroom, all of these resources in the Flex curriculum are going to be massively helpful to you. So if you never felt confident story asking, you can use the story builder activity in your classes when you're face-to-face with your students in the physical classroom space. And you can walk them through that choose your own adventure story builder, presenting the options to them. And so in that way, you guys are still creating a story together. Your students aren't just coming up with ideas on their own. And walking through that process a few times might give you the confidence that you need to try story asking in a more free-flowing kind of way. These print packets, if you have students that are absent, if you have students that come to you and say, I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks with my family, I need all my material by 3 o'clock today, you can just print out the print packet from the Flex plans and give that to your students and don't worry about it. If you have students that join your class late and they're like, oh, I just missed, the first 5 weeks of Spanish, how do I catch up? Well, when you're not using a textbook, that's really hard because you don't just have worksheets that they can catch up on to meet you where you are. You don't have like this explicit knowledge that you say, oh, memorize this and you'll be caught up. Your students need to read and hear the language in order to catch up. So you can give them these stories to read. Obviously, these are also the problems that we've been trying to solve with garbanzo. So the combination of garbanzo and all of these things is really going to help you no matter what format you're teaching in the future. So that is the flex. So now I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to start talking. Okay, so that is flex, but what does that mean for what you should get? So backtracking to, oh my gosh, lots of questions. So what grade level is Somos Flex recommended for? It's the same as the original curriculum. I do not recommend using Somos Flex below 6th grade. Okay, 5th grade, you could push it. In Somos Flex, we aren't going to be going into, oh, I never finished that one question earlier. I'll come back to it. In Somos Flex, we don't go as deep, as much in depth into every cultural topic as we do in the original curriculum, which is one of the reasons that I really hope that even if you don't already own the original curriculum, I hope that you are able to get your school to invest in that for you. It's a very small one-time investment. And so there's no reason that they shouldn't be able to help you with that unless they're just being jerks or they just don't understand. Just kidding. It's usually that they don't understand. So they're used to textbook requisitions that are thousands and thousands of dollars. So you just have to explain to them, this is a one-time purchase. It will mean that you never have to buy a textbook again. Please spend $350 on me. I'm worth it. Oh gosh, I just lost my train of thought. So the flex plans don't go as in-depth and teach cultural topics. So really you can stretch the flex plans lower into lower grades than you can with the original curriculum. 5th graders, I think, would be okay with the flex plans. 4th graders, some of the vocabulary and decoding skills for recognizing cognates, I think would make it a little bit hard for them. But 6th through 12th grade is what it's recommended for. There are teachers, hundreds of thousands of teachers that use it in middle school. There are thousands of teachers that use it in high school. It works great for both. So it's not too babyish for high school. It's not too advanced for middle school. The great thing about learning a language is that when you are new to your language learning journey, the mental challenge, the rigor, the stimulation that comes from interpreting messages in another language, even if they're silly, childish messages, it doesn't feel that way because you still have that same stimulation that comes from really hard work interpreting another language. So 6 through 12 is what I would recommend it for. Maybe you could push it down to 5th grade. I actually am not super aware of a lot of elementary resources but I can connect you with them if I find it out. Spanish Mama is probably a good place to start with. Calico Spanish, it has great elementary resources. I'm not sure what they're putting out specifically for this fall, but they've always had online curriculum. So check out Calico Spanish. Okay, so I'm just kind of jumping around to questions. Oh yes, so back to that question about in the unit one is 4 days, the original unit 1 is 4 days, flex unit is 7 days. So every unit is the same in flex, it's always 7 days. The reason we did not include Los Pollitos Dicen in the Somos flex plans is again, just because we want it to be super formulaic. So every unit follows the same exact pattern to make it really easy for you and for your students. The great thing about that is that it is so simple. It has such a predictable rhythm that you will have the mental space to free up to think, okay, but there's this song I really want to do and it's not in the flex plans. So let me figure out how I can do that with my students. And the collaboration group is a great place to talk about that, to say like, hey, I saw that Los Pollitos Dicen isn't in the flex plans, let's brainstorm ideas about how we can teach that with our students. And really, songs are so easy. They are, the only problem is sometimes streaming is a challenge if you're starting to stream music in synchronous classes. But you can teach your students the motions for the song. You can still do that on day one if you want to, even though it's not in the flex plans, and then you can return to them when you're able. If you want to do Los Pollitos Dicen, if you want to follow the original Somos plans for your classes that are in person in the classroom, great. But the flex plans will still be there for your students that are learning in virtual spaces. So having the original curriculum and the flex plans is maximum flexibility. That is what I recommend. All combined, it is super affordable because it's a one-time purchase and you'll have access to it forever. You'll never have to buy a textbook again. However, if you are in the super unfair, not even unfair, if you're in the super unjust, really sucky position of your school administration cannot or will not purchase curriculum materials for you and you have to pay for this out of pocket, first of all, I'm really sorry. That's not fair. You shouldn't have to be buying your own curriculum resources out of pocket, and it sucks that you're being put in that position. But if you do not already own the original Somos curriculum, then just buy our digital curriculum. Now, that's where you're faced with another choice. So we have this very broad umbrella of digital curriculum. We have a bunch of different kinds of digital resources. We have those distance learning units that we published in the spring. And then we have the flex units that we started publishing this summer. And then we have a bunch of other random things. Like we have some texts, some stories that are set up with digital activities. We have like a daily check-in slideshow that you can send to your students. So a bunch of just different random digital things. We also have a lot of cultural things. In the spring, we published Cinco de Mayo plans and Semana Santa plans. This fall, we'll be publishing Hispanic Heritage Month resources, Dia de Muertos resources, because we know that you really love teaching about those things and fostering those connections with your students. So under the umbrella of digital resources, you've got all those different kinds of things. Well, if you are paying for this out of pocket and you're really strapped for cash, then what I would recommend, if you just need something, if you just need a plan to follow, just get the flex bundle. So there's, or the flex units. So there are flex units right now. There is a bundle for Spanish level 1 units, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you can also pre-order Spanish 2 units 1 and 2. You can pre-order French level 1 units 1, 2, and 3. We will have unit 1 actually published by the time the sale hits. We will also have Latin level 1 unit 1 published by the time the sale hits. So all of those pieces are either already available or are coming. Just get those. That will allow you to teach. That is the most affordable way for you to have lesson plans that are ready for you to work with digital this fall. If your school can afford, is willing to help you out and for digital curriculum, then I recommend getting our semester 1 digital bundle. The semester 1 digital bundle is a growing bundle, meaning that it already has a lot of stuff in it, and we're going to keep adding more things to it as we created it. So the reason we created that bundle was because a lot of you guys have purchasing deadlines for your schools where they say, anything that you want us to buy for you, we have to do it before September 1st, or we have to do it before August 1st. So with the digital curriculum bundle, that includes all of the flex units that we're going to publish for the fall semester. So anything that's Spanish 1 units 1 through 11, and then Spanish 2 units 1 through 6, plus cultural plans like Hispanic Heritage Month and Dia de Muertos. So all of that fall semester stuff is already in the digital curriculum bundle for Spanish 1 and 2, or will be added to that bundle as it's available. Once you buy it, you'll get access to all of the new materials that are added at no additional cost. And again, once you own it forever. So you'll never have to buy digital resources. You'll never have to like renew that subscription or anything. You own it once and it's yours forever. Janice, yes, it's during the sale. So the sale is August 4th and 5th. I hope I said that right, Sam. You can correct me if I'm wrong. August 4th and 5th, it's Tuesday and Wednesday this coming week. It's 25% off the already discounted bundle prices. So anything that is already discounted in my store, that will be an additional 25% off. So it's the most affordable way ever to get these resources. And remember, I will be marking down everything in my store an additional 20%. And then you'll need to use the coupon code from TPT, which is BTS20, BTS20, in order to get that additional 5%. So you might already see that some things are discounted. That's just because we have bundle discounts. We try to make our products more affordable when you're buying in bulk anyway. And that 20% plus 5% coupon code will be an additional discount on top of that. So please don't be confused if you go into the store now and you see that some things are discounted. The sale has not started. Those are just already a discounted bundle price. Geraldine, the French curriculum, there you can download Unit 1 of the original curriculum. That is free. Also, Unit 6 is free in the original curriculum. We don't have any digital resources that are available for you to preview. However, you could, at the beginning of this video, I just walked through some of the flexible plans and showed you some of the resources in the Spanish version, and it's the same thing. All the stories are the same. The cultural elements will be different, but that doesn't come in until the second unit. So again, that's going to be published this week, and it's already available for pre-order. Oh, Andrew, thank you for asking. So Andrew had a question about Garbanzo. Now, Garbanzo is a totally separate platform. That's not a Teachers Pay Teachers resource. It's not even technically a comprehensible classroom resource. It's a sister company of Comprehensible Classroom. So, and I mean, I run it, but it is a totally separate deal. So the Garbanzo subscription, Garbanzo is an online interactive library. We have about 600 stories and informational texts on there. You as the teacher subscribe, and then your students create accounts under you. That is one teacher, it's a per teacher subscription. So Andrew, your school was wondering, the librarian was wondering, can I create one account for my school and have all the students in the school under it? And the answer is no, it's per teacher. And we don't have a limited number of students, it is unlimited. However, whenever we see a teacher that has 500 students under them, then we reach out, because we can see that there's likely an abuse of that privilege happening. Although some elementary teachers do have that many students. Deborah, great question. So Deborah asked, I bought the Flex bundle a couple of weeks ago, but I think I need the digital bundle. So we have the Flex bundle, the units 1 through 5 of the Flex curriculum was already bundled, and a lot of you guys invested in that already. Then later we came out with this semester 1 bundle, and because it's a growing bundle, a lot of teachers would rather have that. That's not a problem. We have set it up with Teachers Pay Teachers that when you email support, Teachers Pay Teachers support, we have given them permission. You have to buy both of them. So buy the Flex, if you've already owned the Flex bundle, buy the new bundle. So maybe wait until during the sale, buy the new bundle, and then email Teachers Pay Teachers support and say, hey, I already bought this Flex bundle, but it's a duplicate purchase. All of the units in the Flex bundle are in this bundle. Can I get a refund? And they have permission for the next month to issue refunds on it. If you wait too long, you won't be able to, they won't issue the refund anymore, but at this time you can still do that. So we, again, know that it's really confusing because we're coming out with new options regularly, and we want to make sure that you are never feeling like you got gypped, that there's a better deal available now, and that there's a resource that's a better fit for your needs and you don't have access to it. So we're really thankful that TPT support has been helping us in that way. It's a lot of work on their part to issue all of those refunds. on the flex bundles for teachers that want to upgrade to the digital bundle. But they're working with us, and we're really, really thankful for their support. The fall digital bundle does not include the original Somos curriculum. So those are always separate purchases. So the original curriculum includes a lot of the same content, but in totally different formats than the digital curriculum. And the original curriculum includes a lot of especially cultural content, authentic resources, songs that are not going to be in Somos Flex. Somos Flex includes a lot more stories and versions of the informational texts than the original curriculum does. So those will never be sold together. It's either original or Flex. And in a dream world, your administration will purchase both of those for you, so that you have maximum opportunity for personalization, differentiation, and all of those things with your students. Oh, Melanie, thank you for that feedback. Garbanzo was a lifesaver last spring with asynchronous. Yeah, we are. It has been so much work and a total learning experience for me. You know, I don't have any kind of a background in technology, but working with our amazing developer company, Zangle Corp, to bring the Garbanzo vision to life. It has helped me to learn a lot about how to be patient and gracious with these websites, and just how much time, energy, and cost goes into every single part of the website. So, you know, asking for new features, it seems like it should be easy. It's never easy or cheap. So we are so proud of what we've put together so far, and we continue to reinvest all of your subscription money back into the website to keep developing new features. So like I said, audio is in the works. We are now able to start adding it to the website. And once we get it in enough paths, once we get that audio added, we will make that feature available to you. It should, I'm guessing it'll be within the next month. And it will be audio beta. So you will have beta access to audio. It won't be on all of our lessons, but we'll just want to make sure that everything's running smoothly. And then it will eventually be part of a Garbanzo premium subscription, because we have a bunch of other big features that we're going to be unleashing this fall. So, Jay asked that we don't intend Garbanzo to be used as an in-classroom resource. You can show the reading on the projector and walk students through it together. You can use the teacher preview mode to do that. All of the challenge questions would be pre-filled, but so you absolutely can. It's not designed for that purpose, but you can do it. You'll be able to read through the questions like that if you want. Jacqueline, yes, student data privacy is a huge priority with us at Garbanzo. We are insanely COPPA compliant. It is so frustrating to me, because I understand from a liability perspective just how important it is for our app to be totally tight, but it does make some things challenging, especially for minor student accounts. So students that are minors have to sign up with an email plus. So an email has to go to a parent, or guardian. The parent or guardian has to click and to give them permission to create the account. And that is such a hassle when you are creating student accounts. But what it means is that we are totally COPPA compliant, and there is no reason that any state or any district should have a problem with our privacy policies. We are rock solid, rock tight, whatever, we're super tight with privacy. Unfortunately, there are still some states that have really weird things built into their privacy policies that just don't make any sense and don't line up with federal privacy policy. So we are having an attorney review. We haven't signed any of those agreements. One of them is California's, and that's been a big rub for a lot of teachers. But we're having an attorney look at them right now and see what can we do to be able to sign that so that teachers in those states can be using the resources. If your district has any problem with Garbanzo's privacy agreement, just put them in touch with help or Ola at garbanzo.io, either one. And we are happy to walk with them through just how perfect our privacy is and how there's no reason that they should have any issue with that. Yes, Mary, you can search garbanzo for grammatical features. Um, so, oh, Katelyn. So Katelyn asked, the semester one bundle will have more flex units as they are created this fall. Yes. So the semester one bundle will have any flex units that are created. This is Spanish we're talking about. So Spanish digital bundle will have more flex units as they're created, everything from units 1 through units 11. Anything after unit 11, we're going to put into a spring bundle. Now, for those of you that were teaching with Somos last year, and maybe you got up to unit 11 and you're like, well, what the heck? I'm starting the year with unit 12. What are you doing for me? Well, we are not working right now on flex units. We are not working yet on those flex units, and we understand that some of you guys are starting with those, and that puts you in a hard position. You don't have that same support as teachers that are starting at the beginning of the year. So what we are doing is, for those later units, we're going into the original plans, and we are taking any student worksheet or student activity, and we are creating a digital version of that and adding that into the original plans. So if you already own the original plans, you will notice that for units 12 through 26, those activities will start being added into the plans. So we aren't adapting we are not adapting the like the instructions, like the format of the plans. We're not adding in the story builders yet, any of that kind of stuff, although we probably will. We're just giving you a little bit of help now so that you can keep pressing on, and hopefully soon we'll have more exhaustive digital materials for that. Patty, garbanzo is not a French program. I know that you guys need leveled readings too, and we are looking at expanding into other languages this year. So we hope to be able to offer that option in the future. But right now we're focused on getting all of our features, all of our core features ready, so that then it's easy for us to transfer into other languages. Okay, so garbanzo, yes, garbanzo is not associated with TPT. So garbanzo is for any level, levels 1 through, well, it's intended for up until when students start accessing authentic text. So levels 1 through 4. And again, it's that 6 through 12 audience is our ideal audience. Elementary students, there are some lessons for them. We have a tag for elementary lessons, but a lot of the content, the topical background knowledge and the vocabulary background knowledge is assuming a 6th grade-ish reading level for garbanzo. The digital bundle that I was talking about, so the growing bundle, it is for Spanish 1 and 2. We put everything in together because we realized that most of you guys aren't just teaching one level. So it'd be easier if you can just buy one bundle together, or buy one bundle with everything in it together. And that is a growing bundle. It includes all of the flex units that are already created for units 1 through 11, and all of the ones that will be created for units 1 through 11. It also includes the distance learning units from the spring for those. Okay, Oh, Courtney, unit 7 will be added to that fall semester bundle. So unit 7, we didn't publish that as a distance learning unit in the spring. There's nothing on it for TPT right now. There's no pre-order, but when we create that, it will be added to that digital semester 1, Spanish 1 and 2 bundle. So that is one of those things that's growing. And the price on that bundle will continue to increase as we add more resources. However, if you purchase it now, you will have access to all of those resources as we add them. So all of the holiday and celebrations related resources for the fall, the unit 7 resource, that will be added into it. And if you buy it during the sale for super discount, so it's already discounted bundle, then you'll get the 25% discount on top of that. You'll get access to all of those new resources, and you won't have to pay more as the price goes up and more resources are added. Okay, so thanks, Sam. So Sam is the my director of operations and my sister, she is responding to comments with the comprehensible classroom account. So she said, if you guys have any questions about Garbanzo, just email hola@garbanzo.io. We've got information set up for you to share with parents, with administrators, with students, everything. The flex lesson plans are in the digital bundle. Oh, Beth, sorry. Yes, we're clarifying. Somos 2 Unit 7 is not going to be in the fall semester bundle. So that will be another one. I will make sure that we get a little bit of stuff added into the original unit so that you have something to work with. Garbanzo is not a part of the sale. No, that is separate. Garbanzo can be accessed from China, I think. It's not on a Google platform. Garbanzo is, it's totally its own website. Oh, Sam already answered that. Yes, Megan, so if you bought the Flex 1 and 2 units separately, will you get a refund if you buy the digital bundle? Yes, we will. Teachers Pay Teachers will honor that for you. And if they have any questions about it, they'll email us and reach out. So we told them that we can please honor refunds for duplicate purchases for the next month only. And so if you get that digital bundle during the sale, then email them and say, hey, there's a duplicate purchase, and they'll be able to help you. There's no way to like prorate a price of a bundle if you already own some of the resources in it. So unfortunately, it's a little bit more of a hassle, but they're very good about it, and they will definitely issue the refund. So don't worry about that. Garbanzo is from, Sam, you've already got this. The sign up 1 year after date. So it's if you sign up today, you'll have access through July 30th of the next year. Oh, Jessica, I'm so glad that you asked about El Mundo en tus manos. So in addition to all of this stuff, one separate thing that is not included in the digital bundle, but is available through Teachers Pay Teachers, is El Mundo en tus manos. So that is our bi-weekly news publication. This is an amazing, amazing resource. And I realize I'm biased when I say that, but I cannot tell you how much work goes into every single issue of El Mundo en tus manos. It's a bi-weekly news publication. We publish 5 news stories from the Spanish-speaking world every 2 weeks during the school year. I got the idea originally from some news summaries that Maris Hawkins was publishing from time to time on her blog. I started the subscription on my own. Maris joined me, so it became a project between the two of us. Nellie Hughes had been proofreading for us, and this year she is coming on as a full-on third team member. So it's the 3 of us, Maris, Nellie, and myself. We write these news stories. We provide them in 2 levels. So you get a novice level blurb, and then you get an intermediate level story as well. With the intermediate level, you get one version of the article that has no glossing, so no words are defined. And then you get a version of the article that has some topical words, like content specific words, glossed in order to support your students' understanding. So you end up getting 3 versions of each article. We work super hard to make sure that we are presenting stories, that we're sharing finding stories from a range of countries. So we're intentional, like, oh, Argentina's been in the news, these news articles, every issue for the last 4 issues, like, let's give Argentina a break and make sure that we're getting another country in there. We look purposefully from stories from countries like Equatorial Guinea, that we don't often see in Spanish curriculum, as a way to bring in the stories from those cultures. We pay special attention to representation so that you're seeing a diverse range of stories and peoples that live in Latin America, in Spain, and in Equatorial Guinea. And we're also really intentional about choosing stories that are not perpetuating racist beliefs about Spanish-speaking people, and even not necessarily Spanish-speaking people, but people that live in that country. Someone said, "Oh my gosh, typos." Oh, I'm guessing that was about something else. So We don't shy away from hard stories. We include a lot of political stories that have like really complex historical context associated with them. But we break that down. We do a lot of research, and we try to present really unbiased stories. So we're saying, you know, some people are protesting because of this, but some people are not happy that they're protesting because of this. So you're really able to share with your students the diverse range of perspectives that exist within a culture, and then your students, you know, can investigate further on their own, or you know, you can dig into that through conversation. So really proud of that resource. You get all the articles. You also get one digital activity. This year it's going to be digital activities for every article. So every article, your students read it, and then there's like a comprehension activity, and that is going to be digital this year. You could print it out and give it to your students if you want to, but we're making it for digital. There's a slideshow for every article so you can project the text of the article and you can read through it with your students. That is going to be Pear Deck ready. Pear Deck is an add-on for Google Slides, and it's a way for our students to like interact with texts. So you can have like embedded questions in it, and polls and student responses. So that's going to be all set up for you to use with the El Mundo en tus Manos subscription. And then there's also like whole class activities that we include with authentic resources and different things. And those are all going to be prepped for digital instruction. So El Mundo en tus Manos, that is a separate purchase. It will be on sale during the back to school sale this coming week, 25% off. That is separate from the digital curriculum bundle. So if you're looking for, and that is a way that all the other resources are really for Spanish 1 and 2. El Mundo en tus Manos is for Spanish 1, 2, 3, 4, because we have all those different text ranges. You can use that with all of your students. And that really has become a cornerstone of the curriculum for a lot of Spanish teachers. We have a collaboration group for that. If you're looking for ways to use it, how might you, maybe you've subscribed for a couple of years and you find you're just really not using the articles like you want to, connect with other teachers in the collaboration group to see how they are using them. EMTM El Mundo en tus Manos is included in the sale, yes. Garbanzo is not on sale. That is not on Teachers Pay Teacher, so it is not part of the sale. Okay, let's see. Oh, thank you. So Courtney says like she uses the El Mundo en tus Manos articles for FVR. So if you're looking for FVR being like free choice reading, free voluntary reading, but really we'll say free choice reading because we're making them read, but they can choose what they're going to read. So if you're looking for ways to have your students just be reading things that they want to read, having an El Mundo en tus Manos subscription is a great way for them to self-select to which articles they want to read. If you want to say like, okay, read in Spanish for 5 minutes every day, that's a good place for that. Yes, so Joanne, it's 25% off the already sale price. So El Mundo en tus Manos is still in its pre-order price. It's $90 and you'll get 25% off of that. Again, it'll be marked down 20% by me, which is the maximum that I'm allowed to mark stuff down in my store. And then you'll be able to use the coupon code BTS20 to get an additional 5% off that subscription price. And the sale is Tuesday and Wednesday. Jay, yes, El Mundo en tus Manos is current events. And it is the price of a year's subscription. So there's a new subscription every year, Michelle. That is one thing. Everything else, I mean, once you buy the El Mundo en tus Manos subscription articles, like you'll own those articles forever. But if you want the new articles for the next year, you'll have to subscribe again. So in that way, it's kind of different than Somos. You know, the Somos bundles are growing bundles. El Mundo en tus Manos, the subscription is only growing during the year. So we're adding all the new resources, but only for the span of that year. Okay. Yes, I know, Michelle, it is with El Mundo en tus Manos, it is more than you can use. That's why, I mean, I originally designed it as a free reading resource. So we didn't have any activities that went along with it originally. I just wanted to be able to give teachers essentially a newspaper that was understandable to their students to put in their class library for free reading. But we found that a lot of teachers that don't already have free reading programs and didn't really have a way to implement them wanted to use it as well. And for various reasons, you know, you want to be able to assign your students activities if you have a sub or whatever. I mean, again, if you guys haven't watched, I have just been loving so much the lives that we've been doing lately for Fun Club, but John Bracey, who's an amazing Latin teacher, and he is working on the translation of Somos for Latin. He joined us on Tuesday for our Fun Club episode in the Somos collaboration group. John is a Black teacher, and he shared with us just how to connect, some really practical strategies for connecting with students of color. And one of the big things was looking at the practices that we, and the policies that we have in place, and considering, are they equitable and or inequitable, and why. And one of the things that we talked about is how when we live in a society, which we do, in which certain groups of people have been historically afforded advantages and others disadvantages, like there have been policies and procedures in our country that have created stability for some groups of people over other groups of people. And then we have policies in our classes that require that run based on stability that students have or don't have in home. For example, homework, anything that has to do with access to technology. When we're saying, if you don't do your homework, you're, that's 20% of your grades, so you're going to fail the class. Well, what about your students that don't have a stable home life, a stable place to call home? How is that fair to them? And so in this situation with digital teaching and learning, when schools are saying every single day students have to complete assignments every single day from home. Well, and what about students that don't have a place to do their work every day? I mean, when I was teaching in Anchorage, 1 in 7 of my students were considered transient. So either were homeless or had been homeless within the last 2 years. And so for me, saying like, if you don't do these assignments every day and turn them in, then you're going to fail the class. That's not fair. So whenever possible, this all comes from, whenever possible, don't give your students assignments to complete. Give them work to do, but if you can just let them read and not have a grade attached to it, even better, because that just gives flexibility. That's not rewarding students or punishing them for the stability or lack thereof in their lives. Again, you should check out that live. It's stored in the Somos Fun Club, the Somos collaboration group, the Fun Club episode. Okay, so Stacy asked, Christine, I'll come back to you. Stacy asked, do the distance learning units made in the spring include all the original Somos? Yes. Oh, well, you asked, I say yes, and then you said one example. So the Somos distance learning units, which we published in the spring, and those units are, almost all of them are in the fall bundle, because a lot of you guys move quickly through the curriculum and you'll be getting to units 8, 9, 10 this fall. Those distance learning units took everything in the original curriculum and they made it digital, including songs. However, you mentioned the Te Amo activity. So the song in Unit 8, actually, that's an additional song. So that song is like a supplement. It's not in the original curriculum. So that isn't in the Unit 8, but there is a different song. And thank you, Michelle, for jumping in. So Christina, the Somos Latin is it's not for native speakers. It is a Latin version. So it's Sumus for Latin teachers and students that are studying Latin. Okay, let's see what else. Lillian asked if last year's EMTM or Pear Deck ready. The ones you'll be able to look, if you look at the 2019 to 2020 subscription of El Mundo en tus manos, if you look at the product listing, you'll see parentheses beside the last few issues of the year that says digital. And so that was, starting at the end of March when everybody went online. From that point on, all of the slideshows are Pear Deck ready. The issues before that are not. So all of those stories at the end of the year are digital ready, but the bulk of the issues from last year are not digital ready. Okay, Great question. Mary asked, are El Mundo articles in Garbanzo? All of our old, all old issues, subscriptions are, although we are in the process of uploading the 2019 to 2020 articles now because that subscription has ended. The current subscription is never in Garbanzo. That's always a separate thing through Teachers Pay Teachers. And again, that's because these are Comprehensible Classroom and Garbanzo are two separate companies. So the subscription is through Comprehensible Classroom. Once it's done, we put those articles on Garbanzo. And so all of the issues from last year will be in there. All right, let's see. Oh, Audrey, thanks. The comic resources. I'm wondering if you, maybe you're referring to the storyboard. So we have in every Flex unit and in all of the distance learning units, we had storyboards that we added, and we were trying to think, okay, we just love illustrating. And so how could we put that, make that digital? And Cindy Hitz has really been helping me with that. And we just found like, we just looked for a ton of different little clip art images and icons that could match up with a story. And we create like this giant icon bank, and then students can drag and drop them into the storyboard frames, and they can inject their own images too if they're comfortable using like the add images and searching for Google features that are in slides. But having those drag and drop icons just makes it really easy, so they can kind of create their own comic storyboards. So I don't know if that's what you were talking about, but it's there. So Becky, it's okay. I know people are kind of coming and going. So if you already purchased the original curriculum and the Flex units, would buying the digital curriculum, would it replace everything you bought? TPT will refund you if you buy the digital semester 1 digital bundle. That includes all of the Flex units. So once you own both of those, you can write to TPT only within the next month and say, can you please refund me for the Flex because I'd rather have this digital. They will do that for you. So so in that sense, like that will replace that. It doesn't have anything to do with the original curriculum though. So the original curriculum is still, that's its own beast, but all the Flex units in the Flex bundle are included in that semester 1, Spanish 1 and 2 digital bundle. Molly, so with schools trying to push for more project-based, inquiry-based learning, how do you envision the essential questions within the Somos curriculum being used for this purpose in the target language? So honestly, this is going to be a big challenge in digital spaces. It's a lot easier in the classroom, but oh, sorry. You know, in the classroom, you have a lot of control over making language comprehensible for your students. But whereas if students are investigating things on their own, most of the resources that they're going to encounter online are going to be incomprehensible to them. So one of the ways that we really envision project-based or well, the inquiry-based learning, Garbanzo is going to be a great tool for that. We are working on creating a free choice reading library within it. So you can specifically assign your students lessons, or you can just open up a ton of lessons for your students to read, and they can pick and choose what they want to read. And again, that will be part of the premium subscription. That will also include audio and a lot of other things. But that is one really easy way to dig into that. That's all built into the original curriculum. The Flex curriculum, like I said, is very pared down in terms of cultural exploration. It presents culture, but it doesn't dig as deep into it. So, and that is, again, like I said, for the simplicity of having students and parents being able to know what to do and how to do it every day when they're managing on their own, and minimizing the administrative load for you in terms of responding to email questions. So what do I do? How do I do? Where do I find? Everything is the same. It's very formulaic week after week, so that it's predictable. The content changes, but the format doesn't. So if your school is really pushing for that in this hybrid way of learning, which honestly is just kind of crazy, you can pull resources from the original curriculum to help you with that inquiry. Okay, so yes, Janina, you just got in, you were planning on purchasing Flex, buy the digital semester 1 bundle. So that is what we are recommending. Buy the digital semester 1 bundle. That is what you want to, even if you already own the Somos curriculum, buy the digital semester 1 Spanish 1 and 2 bundle. It is a growing bundle. It includes everything that we have already created that's digital that you could possibly need this semester. shouldn't say that, that most teachers would need this semester, and everything that we will add this semester, including fall celebrations. And you'll have access once, if you've purchased it, as soon as you've bought it, everything that we add to it, you'll get access to it, no additional cost. Oh, and then the only problem that it would be is if you are starting semester 1 with Somos 1 units 12 and up, or if you're starting semester 1 with Somos 2 units 7 and up, that is not in the semester 1 bundle. That will be in a semester 2 bundle that we won't be publishing until later this fall. And so for those resources, we're trying to just put some stuff into the original curriculum that are digital ready to just kind of help you out for the time being. So ideal situation, if you don't already own Garbanzo, or if you don't already own Somos, the original curriculum, during the sale, get the original curriculum and the digital semester 1 bundle. If your administration won't purchase both of those things for you, which they should purchase both of those things for you, because again, it's a one-time purchase. They buy it once, they get it forever. They never have to buy a textbook again. So textbook requisitions are gone once they own that. But if they won't, then just get the digital bundle, because that's what you need this fall. That's going to be the most pressing thing for you. Garbanzo doesn't have a textbook alignment. However, there are some teachers, I believe, that are working on looking for Garbanzo, on creating that list. It's really very easy for you to do it on your own, because in Garbanzo, you can search by topic. So if you have a textbook chapter on house and home, just search for the tag house and home in Garbanzo, and you'll see all the lessons that are that. So you don't even really need a pre-curated list of lessons, because it's just very easy to do in the website. You can also search by grammatical feature. Okay, guys, it has been an hour and 15 minutes, and we could go on forever. So I am going to stop asking questions. Stop answering questions. Oh, Lillian, you asked, I bought the Unit 11 distance learning pack in the spring. It is in the new semester pack, and you can email info@comprehensibleclassroom.com about that, but we are not planning on issuing any refunds for materials that long back. That's just really a lot for TBT to manage. If you purchase El Mundo en tus manos, would we have access to the earlier stories of digital versions? Angie, I'm really sorry. I don't totally understand your questions. I'm guessing maybe if you're talking about Garbanzo, as long as you have a Garbanzo subscription, that again, that's separate. So even if you subscribe to El Mundo en tus manos, say in 2017 to 2018, you don't automatically get access to them on Garbanzo. If you're a Garbanzo subscriber, then you get access to all of the old articles. I'm hoping that's what you're saying. Okay, well, super glad that you guys joined me. I hope this answered your questions. I'm going to keep going live, because I know that this is just so much, and we are responding to emails as fast as we possibly can, but we are totally flooded. So I'm trying to refer people to these lives that I'll be doing. You can ask in the Somos collaboration group, but really please just email info@comprehensibleclassroom.com if you have any questions. I don't want the group to get taken over by purchasing questions. I want to keep it as a space for collaboration and learning how to implement the curriculum. There are some dedicated threads for Garbanzo and for distance learning, but again, I really want to keep those focused on implementation, not on purchasing. So please direct all purchasing questions to info@comprehensibleclassroom.com. And I will be doing another couple lives over the next few days. Tomorrow, I'm going to be doing a live with Carrie Toth, who just released her Huellas curriculum for Spanish 3 and 4. So if you teach upper levels and you're trying to figure out what to do, you can join us again tomorrow. I don't think we set a time yet, but I'll be announcing it. So have an awesome day, you guys. Thanks for being here. And yeah, that's it. Garbanzo audio coming soon. So excited. I've got to get another one of these hats. My husband keeps stealing it from me. This was like a trial one, and I don't like how it's kind of puffy, so we didn't end up ordering them, but we did get one for free as a sample. Anyway, that's off topic. Bye, guys.